Hi, good evening to both. Yeah, there was a lot of back and forth this morning about what was and wasn't on Michelle Troconis' computer, but ultimately that all had to be put aside for now as the testimony in this trial needed to continue.
It is amazing that nearly 5 years after Jennifer Dulos' death, that this defendant still will not let her rest in peace.
Day 23 of the Michelle Troconis trial, starting with unfinished business. The state alleging the defendant has been publicly displaying sealed custody documents on her computer during the trial, all involving the divorce between Jennifer Dulos and Fotis Dulos.
The defendant absolutely had the sealed report on her computer screen, that it was being displayed in violation of a court order, and that the defendant's mother attempted to prevent her from being discovered as having violated that order by tapping her on the shoulder and bringing it to her attention that we were about to address it with the court.
Prosecutors calling for the judge to dismiss Troconis' mother from the courtroom for the rest of the trial. And while the defense team says they haven't seen proof of the allegations, they did have a conversation with the Troconis family.
Her computer is not here today because we need to listen to the evidence.
Judge Kevin Randolph giving a stern warning to members of the gallery.
So if there are efforts to communicate with a jury or a witness, you will be removed. No hearing, just removed.
The judge says there will be a contempt hearing after the defense rests. Attorney John Schoenhorn outside of court Friday.
As far as I'm concerned, it should have no impact on anything.
Later in the morning, the state continued its case, showing surveillance video with a view of Fotis' Farmington home the day Jennifer went missing.
The defendant indicated to you during her interview that Mr. Dulos was driving the Suburban at this point. Is that correct?
She indicated that he was driving the Suburban and she was driving the Jeep.
Retired state police detective John Kimball says the two vehicles are seen traveling several times to and from another property Fotis owned in Farmington. And back at Fort Jefferson Crossing, the state pointed out smoke coming from the chimney in the middle of May.
Did she ever indicate to you whether or not anyone had lit a fire at Fort Jefferson Crossing on May 24th?
She did not know.
An activity Schoenhorn says is not out of the ordinary for his client.
Whatever they are trying to claim from a couple of puffs of white smoke at various times on a very windy day, again, it's pure speculation.
Jurors then heard from Troconis herself as prosecutors played her third interview with police from August of 2019, one where once again police claim there were inconsistencies in her statements.
There's a lot of evidence that they were not truthful.
Now, that last interview with police lasts more than 3 hours long, so jurors will hear the rest of it on Tuesday because there's no court on Monday because of the holiday. Now, the state does plan to wrap up its case shortly after. We're live here in Stamford tonight. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.